It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and other comics from all over. We came to Japan to escape celebrities in the US that like to talk about how grateful they are. But when a celebrity says they are grateful, they really want to brag on their charity and virtual signaling. Celebrities are not grateful, they are famous. Who needs gratitude? Shut up, celebrities on Zoom. The Talk Funny podcast from NagoyaRadio.com and Nagoya Comedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
Talk Funny and Mark Bailey and Tim Lennane is here. Tim, so this year, because of COVID and all this stuff, we were laid off. We made a lot less money. Even comedy shows that we canceled.
Yeah, we did have to cancel comedy shows, yes.
We made less money, and the Japanese government, Suga, dun, 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 oh, money, money, dun, 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 you are my Suga now, and you got me waiting for a bailout. Thank you. New parody.
All right.
Tim and I are eventually going to do like a whole produced show
to. We
of
just
parodies.
have to. I don't know why you never
begging for it.
I blame it on the COVID.
Don't blame it on the don't blame it on the alcohol. Don't blame it on the heat. Blame it on the COVID.
Blame it on the COVID.
It's another one.
Blame it on the COVID.
They just don't stop. They keep
Blame it
writing
on the
themselves. These songs write themselves. They write themselves. They write the songs that make you cry. They write themselves.
That make everybody die.
They write themselves. They write themselves. They write the songs
that make the whole world cry. So we write the songs that make everybody die. Sorry.
So we got some relief packages, and
we got the Jumon.
Yeah,
really,
that's for families and households.
Everybody got $1,000.
Then there's another one that I have a beef with, and I finally got it taken care of. But it was for contractors, and technically, if you're what they call a hijokin teacher, you don't have a full-time contract at a institution, and so you're working for 5 or 6 places, right? And that's what I am. And also, I'm self-employed because I love to work at nothing all day. Look behind you. Look at those drums. I didn't play them at all when I was online. Not online teaching. No, I never played them then. All right, so there was this other program where the contractors could get, if you lost 1 million yen or more of income and could prove it, then they would give you at least 1 million yen and sometimes more.
Yes.
And I heard about this from other contractors. Now, I employ my own accountant, and unfortunately, he's Japanese. He's not a Jewish accountant. I called him up. I'm like, what is this? He goes, oh, you were interested in making more money? Of course. What?
I so hear you.
What kind of an accountant are you?
That's amazing.
And I think he might be a right-wing Uyoku Van accountant. It's kind of like, but that money, he kind of said it. He said, but that money is for Japanese contractors.
Dude, I just want you to know this. I got that.
Yeah, I
finally
got it.
I got that from another dude. You're talking, I'm trying to get the same thing you were talking about, right? And literally, I'm literally going down to go down there. They say, well, you're not in you have to go get this from your employer that says whatever. And I went down to my employer, sign this, right? He goes, well, no, you're an employee. And I said, what do you mean? I work everywhere. Yeah. Well, you're an employee. I said, what do you mean? I literally have 5 different jobs and I've lost 3 of them. Oh, yeah, but for you working for us, you're a Kyoan, right? You're a Kyoan. I said, right. Well, okay, I still qualify for this thing. Well, no, I checked it out. You don't. And I said, what do you mean? So, this is even hard for Japanese to get. And I said, what do you mean by that? For Japanese? Dude, you deal with foreigners every day of your life. And then I realized, this is my job next year. I can't go, right. You're wrong, you have to do this. Anyway, God, I'm still pissed.
A little bit of background for people that don't live and work in Japan. A lot of us are contractors, and basically, because we're not Japanese, they won't hire us full-time because it's hard to fire a foreigner that hasn't done anything wrong, and that's not going to stop them from doing it. They want to do it. They want a younger guy.
Yeah.
But foreigners don't take it lying down. We fight back, and so they, as a precaution, even when I was in radio, I wasn't directly hired by a radio station. They go through a middleman.
Right.
The middleman fires you. It's like the mob. The middleman is your best friend.
Yeah.
And then when you get whacked, the middleman does it because the place you thought liked you, that you worked at, told the middleman to whack you in the back of the head, and you get fired. Okay, you could do that. I mean, we've agreed to.
We're working under those conditions. Yes,
okay, we agreed to that. And then but the government said even if you're a contractor, you still get paid. That's what it was designed for, because we pay taxes.
Right.
We are customers. Okay, Gaijin lives matter. I'll just say it. Okay,
GLM.
We've got this deal, and then my accountant was trying. He's Japanese, and he was trying to dissuade me, and he said, "Well, you have to do that yourself if you really want to do it, but I don't think you're eligible." And I said, what do you mean? I'm self-employed. My major income is from contracting with 5 different places because you Japanese won't hire me full time because you don't want to give me benefits. You don't want to give me retirement. And I agreed to that, but now you're going to have to agree that's the law. And he said, well, you would have to do it yourself. And I said, yeah, but you're my accountant. I mean, what is your job exactly? And he goes, well, I would take care of tax matters. And, if there's a refund, I would handle that. Yeah, this is a refund. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, don't you still work for me? And he goes, well, I could do it if you really want it. What do you think I called you for? Yeah, I really want it. And he goes, yeah, I guess I could do that. I said, no, I know you could because I'm paying you. I'm paying him a retainer every month. What am I paying you for?
Now, my question is that I actually started the application process.
Okay.
And they came back to me and they go, well, you need these things, this and this. And they gave me another, and we didn't quite understand it. So there's a little office down here you can go down to and go, hey, what do I really need to apply for this? And go, well, because I had some weird thing on my tax forms. I do my own taxes.
Right.
I could do it at Wink Aichi, by the way. I go down there and do it at my Wink Aichi.
I do my own taxes, but I have the accountant because it's just more problems if he does my receipts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, and they, for some reason, give me the right kind of seal or something. So I had to go get from the tax office that I'd paid my taxes last year. That's one of the things.
Okay.
Then they give me this letter to go get this from one of your places that does not, and I'm going to remain, the place that I work for shall remain anonymous. I have to go to them and get them to sign off this piece of paper saying that, I'm not essentially an employee there. And I'm not. I'm a contract worker. I know. I sign a contract with them every year. They fire me every year.
That's what a contract is.
And then they re-up me every year.
That's what all of us are doing. By the way, it sounds like complaining about part-time jobs. You're not hired for more than 1 year when you're part-time. That's what the contract
and that
is.
makes
You're fired
planning
every
rather
year.
difficult. It's really hard to buy a house on a 1 year contract, if you know what I mean.
I did radio, and I was fired every year for 10 years.
You're fired. You're fired. You're hired back, but you're fired. Congratulations on being rehired. Like, what?
But that's interesting. Now, in hindsight, I would think, oh, that's good. So you're saying that I'm not part-time and expendable and not a contractor.
Well, that's what I started doing. He started getting upset.
What'd you sign this?
I said, well, do you pay my Shakai Hoken? Do you pay my Nankin? Well, no. Well, then how am I an employee?
Yeah, you don't pay any insurance. I don't get benefits from you. I don't get pension from you.
Right.
So can I get that in writing then that you are doing these things for me?
Right. And of course, but if I do that, then I won't get hired next year.
That's right.
Right. So that was a really weird. I'm still freaked out about it over 4 days later. I mean, I literally was looking at the guy going, you racist POS. I've been working for you for 10 years. You deal with gaijin every day. You deal with, foreigners every day. And you know what? You just said to me, it's like, this is for Japanese. It's not for you. It says, like, I don't live here? Like, I don't pay taxes? I do. It's for everybody that's affected by this coronavirus here. Not just Japanese. Well, that's for Japanese. How dare you? I mean, how dare you?
And, you got to remember, like, the Japanese parliament, was it 108% Japanese in the parliament?
Yeah.
Japanese parliament? We have no representation, but we're taxation. I think we, burned a Boston port down one time.
There was a party there about that. That's kind of a thing.
It didn't end well for the others.
Well, we can hope Japan will change, but not anytime soon.
You've got to think about that. Even when they were passing this, they wanted to put that in the law. But if they did, that would go on CNN. That would go worldwide.
Right.
Racist. You can't put the racism. You have to let the racism happen locally. You can't put it into legislation. They wanted to, but they couldn't because it's illegal.
It's illegal. It's illegal in the Constitution. But
yeah.
They do manage to pull it off. I mean, they're doing pretty well at it. I'm just saying,
That's amazing. And even my accountant, it's like, et tu, Bruto? Et tu?
Your accountant.
Been paying
your accountant's
you.
Working for you.
I've been paying this guy for 15 years.
Well, apparently, Japanese accountants, they have an ethics problem. They actually have to follow the government guidelines and to the government's advantage, not your advantage. Whereas true accountants, like, hey, save me money, get me some money. The government doesn't need my money.
But in contrast, if I had and I have a Jewish accountant in the States.
Yeah, you do.
Okay? And so he called me up and he said, do you know about this Japanese thing with the contractors? He goes, you should ask your accountant about it. He goes, he hasn't called you already? No. And my Jewish accountant called me about that. And he has no purview here in Japan. But he also called me about the one that the Treasury sent you in the States. And I said, why? Because you get a piece of that? And he goes, no, I don't get a piece of that, but I'm your accountant. I'm supposed to be looking out for you. I said, let me translate that in Japanese and put that in the job description for the accountant that I hire in Japan. Yeah, I'm a Japanese accountant, so I'm here to protect Japan. No, Japan is not paying you. You're not on the payroll from Japan.
Well, I mean, and truth, I think that what really is infuriating, frustrating for me is that this is exactly for people like us. I mean, It is for people who work part-time everywhere. And the $1,000 is nice, but this is a little substantially more, and it is a stimulus money. They have the money.
They got it from taxes that we're paying, by the way.
Right. So, and I'm part of that system, and yeah, I had my own employer going, well, I don't think you qualify. It's like, that's not for you to decide, buddy.
And I have to point this out. You probably don't realize this if you're not living in Japan, but for a long time, we were stranded, stuck here in Japan without jobs. Our jobs are being cut.
Yes.
And we can't fly back to our home country, the States.
Right.
There was no flights. And if there are, there's like a 14-day quarantine. Maybe you can't afford to be there for 14 days. Maybe you need to access your bank account in the States so you could fly back to Japan and survive here. But we couldn't even travel. We're stranded, and now we're denied money. Let my people go. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Let my people go.
But I had to go. I was starting to get into my mode. It's like, well, excuse me, you work full time. You get your pension paid, and you get your insurance paid, and you have your taxes halfway paid through this. And well, I don't. Anywhere, nowhere. And, you have children, and so do I. I have children just like you. And you think if I'm making, like, let's say, about $2,000 a month is going to cut it for my family, I don't think you really understand anything.
And, they're right-wingers, the vans.
Yeah.
They'd say, well, go back to your country. I can't. You MFer. I can't. All right?
can't.
So what are you going to do about it? Because I can't.
So I try to change the society. I try to change people like you. Of course, he's not taking any of that. And at the end of the conversation, I told him I couldn't really say what I wanted to say. So I bit my tongue and go, yeah, thanks, you. I appreciate it. I'll get this from somebody else. All right.
Suffice it to say that if this had been reversed, if this had been done to a Japanese person who's working in the States, it would be a headline in New York Times, CNN.
That's right.
Oh, definitely Mainichi Shimbun. It would be the headline. Every Japanese person would know about that, right?
Go back to your country.
Go back where
home.
you came from. Can't get back into that.
Yeah. And besides,
that's where I came from. Doesn't matter what country it happened
we
in.
spend most of our lives trying to get back in there if you think about it.
We'll be back.